All right. Settle down. How you doing, everybody? It's Garbage Bear Show, episode 3. I'm back already. But that's what happens when you agree to do a podcast every week, I guess. So before I get started, I just want to, I make my living in professional boxing, but I'm not going to talk about boxing very often because, it's kind of a niche topic and, who gives a shit. But there are some things I need to say, take about 5 minutes, all right? The first one, I have a friend by the name of Corey Erdman. He's a reporter, media, television personality guy in Toronto. I would say mid-career, not, headed places, but not there yet, but starting to get all the right connections going. And Corey is a great guy. I have been out drinking with Corey. I've been in restaurants with Corey. We always have a great time, and he's a nice guy. But I'd be saying this anyway, okay? Corey Erdman did something no boxing writer in the history of boxing has ever done, I don't believe. And here's what happened. Boxing is famous for bad decisions. They happen all the time. They happen so often that I've really pulled back from watching the sport. But a couple weeks ago, I don't know, maybe a month, there was a fight and there was a horrible decision. A guy named Michael Fox got a bad decision fighting for the welterweight championship, 147-pound championship. And the judges really fucked it. They really screwed up. They picked the wrong guy because he was more politically connected. And that's what happened. Normally, boxing fans just have to take it. We just have to, we'll get him next time. And then, you see this guy that got the bad decision in another fight and he's making $8 million. And the guy who actually won is living in obscurity, trying to get, and it just happens so often. If you have a big promoter in boxing, you have a much better chance of winning. With boxing, it's the left side of the bout sheet. If you ever go to a boxing match, keep track of how often the left side of the bout sheet wins the fight. That's all I'm saying. But, that said, boxing is also an incredible sport when it's at its best. There's just so much drama, so much, there's the high stakes. The athletes are the best trained athletes in the world with such incredible skills and bravery. I mean, what sport even compares, And yes, there is a brutal element to it, which I have a lot of problems with. But there's a brutal element to football. There's a brutal element to soccer. Players doing headers are getting brain damage. And football, we'll live to see football taken out of high school programs. I'll bet you any money, or scale back where you can only play it at a certain age because it is bad for the head. That helmet is not stopping hits stronger than punches. When you throw your whole body into someone and it's just that little helmet that's keeping the brain safe. No, but football's dangerous too. I'm not going to defend boxing, and I'm not going to try not to trash it too much either. But okay, here's what Corey Erdman did. Corey Erdman saw this decision and he went on the internet and he researched the judges and these people who fucked it right up. And then he went on one of the judges, the judge who really screwed it up. She had a score of, 11-1 or something in rounds. It was a 12-round fight, and she scored it like 119. So that means she only gave one round to the other guy. And I believe there was a knockdown in the fight. So he should have been ahead by 2 at least, or he should have gotten 2 points for the knockdown. I'm not going to explain boxing scoring to you, but please just bear with me. So Corey went through this judge's Twitter history and found racist remarks that she had made about Michelle Obama and about, she had said some really bad things on Twitter. And so this great man, Corey Erdman, went on Twitter and posted her racist tweets from the past. And normally, I'm not a huge fan of that when it's not warranted. But in this case, this judge turned out to be married to a WBA official, racist on Twitter, and had even worked as a WBA official herself. That's the organization that the title was for. There's 4 organizations in boxing, and the WBA is one of them. So Corey goes through and he finds these racist tweets. He posts them on Twitter, and something beautiful happens. People get enraged at the decision she rendered and at her racism, her open racism, and at the circumstances of the fight. Corey even went so far as to suggest that the head of the WBA played a too large of a role in the career of the boxer who was given the bad decision, Corey really dug in. And what happened is, in response, the WBA appears to be cleaning up their act completely. They fired that judge. I have never heard of that before in my life. They actually fired a judge for a bad decision. And Mr. Corey Erdman got that done. That's why I honor Corey Erdman, everybody. Corey Erdman is a great. This is for you, Corey. You deserve it. Yeah, soak it in, buddy. You're going places, my man. So, Corey not only got the judge fired, the result of the fight was changed to a no contest. The WBA, it's complicated, but they rescinded the champions. They had been giving out cheap championships to fighters who didn't believe. They had like 3 world champions in one division. How can that be? But they were calling them interim champions. Well, they got rid of all the interim champions. Now they're going to have just one world champion at the top of each weight division, which is the way purists prefer it, you know. And Corey got all this done. He really did. I mean, yes, there were other journalists who were, you know, reporting on the bad decision and saying, oh, the WBA sucks and that. But Mr. Corey Erdman went one further. He actually got something done. And to me, it's important. And I hope that judges learned a lesson. You know, I hope the sanctioning body learned a lesson about, you know, how far you can go as far as even the appearance of corruption. You know, when the head of the WBA is the de facto manager of a fighter, and then he gets a gift decision from WBA judges who also have, you know, questionable ties, that conflicts of interest that aren't, you know. I just think Corey Erdman is a hero. And I love him. And great job, Corey. The other thing about boxing I want to mention today is Jake Paul. I just want to get my feelings out there about these celebrity boxing matches. I think they're great. Screw you, fuck you. I think they're great. Yes, they're not top level boxing matches. They're not, the top of the sport. You're not seeing unmatched skills. But anything that brings attention to the sport, anything that brings this many people to back to the sport, and they're having real fights underneath it. I just think it's great. And boxers of the world, you know, I deal with boxers every day, and I'm always amazed to find what level fighters are at that don't even have like a decent poster picture. They don't have a bio. They don't, and you ask them a question and they give you a 1-word answer because they just, you know, fighters. Marketing a fighter is most of the battle. If there's lots of fighters who win fights. Terrence Crawford is undefeated and probably one of the best fighters in boxing, but you don't know who he is because he doesn't play the game. And I don't mean to center him out, but there are so many fighters that don't realize this is professional boxing. And there's some, you know, there are things you have to do and bases you have to cover, like your marketing. You know, there's a reason Conor McGregor fought the greatest fighter who's ever lived, probably, and made $100 million because of his mouth. It wasn't because of his boxing skills. So you fighters, you get your act together, all right? But Jake Paul, I'm all for it. I hope he wins. I hope he continues to take on these, you know, other guys that you or I wouldn't fight. And by the way, Jake Paul can fight a little bit. The brother, I heard him whispering to Floyd Mayweather, you know, take it easy. So that was, you know, kind of a sham. But what are you going to, you know, on an imaginary fight, you can't really go to the imaginary judges and say, you know, I imaginary protest this. But Jake can actually fight, and he's a master of marketing. He's a master of getting in the papers and getting people interested in events that, you know, normally would be complete shit. He's got the whole world interested in these fights, and so good for him. I admire the guy. He plays a heel. But he's no dummy, and he's going to be rich as hell for the rest of his life. Good for him, you know. I'm happy for him. So let's leave it at that for the boxing. And sorry about that. I won't do that very often. What I wanted to talk about, though, drum roll, please. You're not going to believe this, but I miss Donald Trump. I said it. I fucking said it. I miss Donald Trump. Now, before you know, turn me off or whatever, hear me out. Wasn't that fun? Now that you know you can't be killed, he's not going to get us all into a nuclear war and blow up the whole world. Wasn't that fun? Well, remember how fun late night TV was every night? Where they would just, talk about what he had done that day. And it was a scream. It was so funny. I loved it. And some of the things Trump did, they're so funny. Remember when he stared at a solar eclipse? Remember when he told the little girl there that he asked her if she still believed in Santa Claus? Or what about Scaramucci? Remember the mooch he had for like 11 days? All the people that came and went? Oh, what about when he tried to buy Greenland? I miss that guy. It was so interesting and fun when he was president. Now, yeah, okay, I don't think he was a good president. I don't think he had the temperament or the character for the job, obviously. But it was funny. You can't take that away from the guy. That was the funniest presidency you will ever see in your life. Hundreds of years from now, they will still be telling stories of, what about the news conference at Four Seasons Landscaping? Have you ever seen the picture of Trump sitting at the table with his arms crossed like a stubborn kid, and all the other world leaders are like obviously fed up with him in the picture? Like that's gold, baby. Or when he fed Big Macs to the winning college football team. You're never going to see this again, and you don't know how good you had it for comedy. Trump's presidency was a comedy gold, and now that I know, I can't get killed, I miss him. I am so bored with Biden. And, let's face it, too, like Biden is just another middle of the road politician, a Clinton Democrat that is going to do a lot of Republican shit, which is fine, whatever. They're all the same, basically. But Trump was not. Trump was different. Trump was another animal. And if Andy Kaufman had done Trump's presidency, you'd call it genius. So, not that Trump's a genius. I never said that. But it was a very funny presidency, and he made late night TV better. And here's another one, though. And I mean this. Trump got a demographic that feels they have no hope. The people who are having it the hardest, the worst, worst outcomes and worst prognosis, he got them motivated and politically interested. He activated a whole sector of the public that would never have gotten involved with politics and would have just felt helpless had he not come around. He awakened about 30% of the people to an area of life that they would have never entered otherwise. And that was good. Now, these poor people that are voting, I think, against their own interests, they've been tricked. And, there's a whole universe of misinformation now that you can easily fall into, especially, you're mad, you don't have a job, you don't have health care, you can't afford to die. And, along comes this guy from, this outside the political arena, and, and he's charismatic and funny, and he says angry things that fire you up. I see what happened, and I don't blame them for, most people don't have enough time to sit down and see what's really going on. And so a TV network that can just, that paints a world where there is a good guy and a bad guy, and these guys are all bad and these guys are all good, and everything these guys do is good and everything these guys do is bad. That's easy to pick up. You can pick that up in half an hour of TV. But when you add in nuances and complications and, what about this? You have to go into the history of why these things. That's hard to figure all that out is difficult. And a lot of people don't have time for it. And it's the Fox News narrative of the world, which I don't think is true, but the Fox News narrative is a lot more easily digested. And I think for a lot of people, that's appealing. And so they end up very politically motivated, but in the wrong direction, in my opinion. And I'm not criticizing. It's time we all just, you know how many friends I don't have anymore because they liked Trump and I didn't, it got real ugly. And I don't know. If you think about it, they're people just like us. They just looked at a different way of getting out of it. I had a really interesting experience. I dated a girl who was a staunch conservative, like a Christian Republican. And we actually had a surprisingly good relationship. But anyway, she used to tell me things. She would say something like, well, Sarah Palin is a smart politician. And I, of course, to a soy-loving liberal social justice warrior like me, that's a completely ridiculous statement. But then she would show me all her proof and what she's basing it on. And for everything you think is true, and for all the articles you could provide to, make your point, I'm telling you, I guarantee you, there is an entire universe on the internet of articles and stories that look just as real, that are just as seriously written, that say the exact opposite. And that, I don't know what the answer is to that, but I don't know if we'll ever get out of it, or if we're an empire in decline. But yeah, that's a problem. The final thing I want to say about Trump, and this one is big, okay? So get ready. Trump was not the worst president. Trump wasn't even the worst president in the last 30 years. Bush started a war with the wrong country to get even for his dad. And he's not even in prison. George Bush Jr. and Cheney should be, well, they should have by now been executed for war crimes. And no, he's hanging out with Ellen. And he's actually on a image reparation tour with his little paintings, and everybody thinks he's a cute old man now. George Bush was way worse than Trump. Trump was a troll. Trump loved owning the liberals, so he'd say things to irritate us every day. And he had his fun doing that, and the lying and that. But George Bush got 500,000 people killed at least for no reason at all, for personal reasons. So let's keep that in context. Now, do I think Trump should be in jail for his finances? I don't know. If he's where he's at because he cheated, then he deserves something. But yeah, let's not the whole Trump is the worst president ever. Let's not let's not go there. The man tapped into people's misplaced anger and gave them something to shout at because of how things have gotten. And I don't want to get too in deep with what I feel has gone on. But he was against NAFTA, and that's great. And I think, forgive me, but the Bernies of this world, the Donald Trumps, the Ross Perot's, I think that another maverick with maybe less self-absorption might be exactly what the world needs. Like, for instance, and I don't know, but President Mark Cuban. I don't think that's a terrible idea. If you've ever heard Mark Cuban talk, he says a lot of smart things. And I think he would be outside the beltway and not, susceptible to lobbying and pressure from donations. Because a lot of these guys would probably vote their conscience if they weren't facing losing their job for doing it. Because as soon as you vote your conscience, in today's political climate, the corporations just stop with the dark money and you're going to lose. So it's not a system that's working. And I just think that we were on to the right idea with Trump. But I think a more responsible, more mature guy like a Mark Cuban is maybe the answer. And I'm forgetting other billionaires, other people that are, have demonstrated above average competence, but are less self-absorbed. I think there's someone out there that could do what we all hoped Trump would do. But that said, by no means am I switching sides. Although I've always had a few conservative. This is weird, but if the Republicans would stop it with all the bullshit, with the anti-science and just the lies and that, I just find that the Republican Party's become unbearable. But at the bottom, the root of conservatism, there's some good points in there. It's just they've lost their mind. So we will see where I'll see where I fall on the political spectrum if things ever go back to normal and we don't sink into civil war and all die. Okay, that's my Donald Trump speech for today. Thank you for listening. I've got Baboo coming up. Baboo's going to give me a performance review for 4 years of being her boyfriend. I'm interested to see what that'll entail. if she tears me a new one or not, I don't know. I know that I'm difficult to be around, and so we'll just see how difficult. That's coming up. And then I thought I might play with that singing pedal that I bought coming up. I don't know if that's even interesting, but I'm going to fuck with it. And then if it's interesting, I'll put it in the show. If it's not, if you don't hear it, then you know it sucked. Okay, I'm going to take a break and we'll be back with Baboo giving me my performance review as a boyfriend. Okay? See you in a minute. There. How's that?
Something just happened.
Yeah, I changed the volume of the main.
Okay.
So are you okay now, honey?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so everyone, we're going to try this. I've got Catherine, the lovely Baboo, in studio with me. Say hello, Catherine.
Hello, Catherine.
Okay, honey, I'm going to try this. I want a performance review. Do you know what I mean?
I think I have a pretty good idea.
I'm going to ask you a series of questions about our relationship, and I would like your total honesty, okay?
Okay, I'll give it a try.
I know, but you're too nice. You're gonna tell the honest truth? You're not gonna be worried about hurting my feelings?
I'm gonna try. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, yeah, because you're so nice, you might not be able to do it. Okay, that's fine. Okay. And if you're not good, like if you feel like you're not doing well, or you don't want to do this, or if it's just too mean or whatever, we can stop. Okay, honey?
Okay.
All right. I'm so tired today and grouchy. Okay.
All right, what's your first question?
But the show must go on. Okay. And don't rush the host. Okay. Baboo, for Andre's 2021 performance review, the first question is, are you happy?
Yes, I am very happy.
You are?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay, tell me why.
Well, we have a nice little home, and you make me laugh. And I know that I'm safe.
Oh, okay. I have a feeling the rest of this isn't going to be as sweet and romantic, but we'll see. Okay. Am I easy to deal with?
Absolutely not.
Okay. How so?
Dealing with you is like having a toddler sometimes. You're like the fourth kid around here sometimes.
Really? How? Like in what way?
Where would you like me to start? You want me to start with the mood swings? Do you want me to start with your forgetfulness and getting tricked? The getting tricked, that's my favorite. That's
age.
No, it's like a regression. The more you get older, the younger you become.
Yeah, that's true. You get to a certain age and then you're just like, why act mature? Why?
I don't know. I'm not there yet.
Like, I don't, at 52 years old, I don't need to, impress some boss so I can get my entry level position and show the company that I'm,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, why not just do whatever I want?
Well, have you told your listeners yet about all the times that you've been tricked in the last couple of weeks?
Okay, I am dealing with some short-term memory loss. That's a physical thing. Like, I'm not doing that on purpose to be difficult to do. I guess that does make me hard to deal with, though, right?
A little bit.
Okay, how else am I hard to deal with?
I think that's pretty much it. It's mostly the getting tricked and acting like a toddler. Yeah.
Oh, I can't creak my chair. Okay, Baboo.
Yes.
What's the best part of our relationship?
Best part of our relationship. Well, I'll tell you my favorite part. My favorite part is when we watch murder and cuddle up before bedtime.
Yes, you and I watch a Irish gentleman, right, named Mike.
Yes.
That chapter on YouTube, and we are quite versed in murder, correct?
He is my favorite, and yeah, we've seen probably all of the major serial killers anyway.
Oh yeah, I've seen all his videos. And now we found coffee. What is it called?
Oh,
Coffee House Crime. Coffee House Crime.
There you go.
And it's a British copy of our Irish Mike doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, and somehow they seem to have the same stories with slightly different details.
Yeah,
which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, interesting, right? So, what is it about? Okay, first of all, you're insane for falling asleep to murder. But what is it about murder that helps you sleep?
I'm not even sure. There's something very comforting about listening to somebody who's being murdered.
Isn't that strange?
Puts me out in minutes.
Isn't that like someone's daughter was taken in a car to a woods and strangled to death, and You found it.
I'm a cold.
Okay, I'm not laughing about people getting hurt. That's really weird.
No, that's how I relax. I like to listen to murder.
I hear a lot of people do that. Okay, what's the most romantic thing I've done?
Oh, well.
Is there?
Yeah, I'm sure there is somewhere.
Accidentally romantic?
I mean, you did take me out on my first date.
Yeah.
That was pretty romantic.
I took you for dinner for the first time. It's okay, honey. The first time a gentleman caller is taking you for dinner was by Andre, right?
That was pretty romantic.
Took you to Mexico?
Yeah.
Well, actually, you took me to Mexico if you want to get...
Well, I think it was a joint thing, but that was pretty romantic too.
Yeah. Yeah, we were sitting in the bathtub and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
All right. Would you say I'm a romantic partner?
Yes, but in your way. I think that sometimes you're romantic and you think that you're being romantic, and sometimes I don't pick up on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, okay. We should mention, right, that I'm very right brain and you're very left brain. You're very ordered and structured and you like a plan, and I'm very seat of the pants, right?
Right.
Is that hard for you to deal with?
Sometimes it is, yeah.
Yeah. What happens? Like, what does it make you feel scared, or what goes on?
I'm not really sure. I think scared might be a good description of it, but honestly, I haven't explored it enough to know what's really going on.
Have you ever dated anyone else that was very seat of the pants?
Not quite like you, no.
No? Oh,
no.
Okay.
You are my first seat of the pants, what's the expression? Fly by night, go with the flow, do whatever comes to mind.
Is it helping or hurting?
No, I wouldn't say it was hurting, or helping. I don't know. It's an experience.
Okay.
How about that?
All right, I'll take that. When were you your closest to killing me? Oh, no.
I think today.
Today?
I think today.
Okay, full disclosure, we have been trying to record this for a while, and I keep feeling like she's not hearing my hidden expectations for what this segment should be like. And so I keep getting frustrated because I'm tired. And so that's making her upset because I'm, not my usual self. And anyway, we argued before the segment started, right, honey?
Yeah, we had a little tip.
But you
apologized.
I
really want to see your vision for this. Mm. I was trying.
Okay, but you've apologized for your conduct, right?
Yeah, I apologize.
Okay, so you're closest to killing me today?
Yeah, after 4 years, today was the closest I think I've ever come to killing you.
Wow. So I guess I've been pretty decent for 4 years then, if this is the worst thing I ever did.
Yeah, but really you need to sleep because you're not very fun when you're not sleeping.
I'm bitchy and tired. All right, what would you change about me? And don't say today.
Okay. Today aside, I think that I would like it if you would... Oh, what would I change? I mean, I wouldn't really want you to be as structured and organized as I was, because then I wouldn't have that.
You're not answering the question.
I think the one thing that I would change...
Answer the question, ma'am.
Nothing.
Oh, come on!
No, there's nothing. I wouldn't change anything. If I changed anything about you, then you wouldn't be you.
Oh, okay. It'd be a different relationship.
Yeah, and you are who I fell in love with. I couldn't change anything.
Oh. Well, that was a really good answer.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Nice job, Baboo. Okay, am I easy to sleep beside?
Most nights?
Yes, you're the one that's a terror. You're awful.
Well, okay, so we spent the first 2 years with me falling off the bed, and the last 2 years with me hogging the bed.
Yes. That is exactly right.
Yeah.
But, every time the fitted sheet comes off, it's your corner because you're up there tearing it up.
No, that's because you're pulling it towards your side.
Are you going to make me post that picture?
No.
I got a picture of you sleeping way over half.
Oh, I'm stretched out because you got up out of bed. That's right. I stretched out when you got out of bed.
I knew it was me somehow. I just wasn't sure exactly what I had done.
Well, you don't want me to take up the bed? Don't get out of bed.
Okay. Am I a clean person? Do I clean up after myself?
Sometimes.
Okay, go on.
I think a lot of times I clean up after you.
What?
And I think sometimes I gotta remind you repeatedly to clean up after yourself.
Well, that's not cool. I'm sorry about that. I'm just
I
always
think it's mostly the thing that I've noticed most is beside your bed. Your side of the bed. Where you dump everything. You dump your,
that's my
your
laboratory.
Food containers, and you dump your shoes and your clothes.
Honey, that's my laboratory.
I know, that's why you always have a garbage bag on hand. I got it.
All right. Am I nice to the kids? You have 3 children, correct?
Yep, all 3. Dane, Amy, and Mason.
I act like I don't know. Yes, am I nice to the 3 kids?
You are exceptionally nice to those 3 kids.
Aww.
Yeah. And you spoil them. And then I get mad because you spoil them because they went a lot of years without getting spoiled.
Oh, yeah. Did you hear them today arguing about Pop when they didn't get a Coke for like...
a day?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they have to measure out the 2 liters so they each get into the same amount.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, thanks for introducing Pop, by the way.
You're welcome. Are you better off or worse since 4 years ago? Don't forget you go to school.
You did encourage me to go to school.
Okay, that's not fair. I'm influencing your answer. Are you happier? Are you better off or worse since 4 years ago, Baboo?
I'm better off. We have a lot of things going on that are really great in our life.
Such as?
Well, we've got our DJ business and the photo booth business that we do together.
Yeah. Go on. I
Sorry.
recently discovered these sound pads, so I'm just gonna go on.
Well, look at everything that we've done around the house.
Oh yeah, we have remodeled the house quite a bit, right?
I mean, there's still some to do, but yeah, the house has gone through a major change.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
So, in 4 years of going out with me, the best thing that's happened is your house is remodeled?
No, that's not the best thing. That's just one of the things.
Okay, come on, tell me more stuff.
Oh, I don't know off the top of my head. I want to skip this question.
Okay, they'll probably play it at our divorce. Am I your best boyfriend ever, or why not? Doesn't this feel kind of like a hostage video? Like I'm propping you up here to tell everybody what a nice guy I am? I'm
yeah,
sorry.
a little bit. But
in my mind, you were going to like tell me all these horrible things about me.
On your good days, you were the best boyfriend ever. And on your bad days, not so much.
Okay, follow-up question. On my bad days, who's the boyfriend better than me?
Oh, I didn't say there was a boyfriend better than you.
You said you're not the best boyfriend ever, so that means there's someone better.
Oh, because you have bad days, and I wanted you to know that you have bad days, so I said you're not always the best boyfriend ever. That means there's somebody better?
Right. Well, if I'm not the best, someone else is, right?
No, it just means that on those days you are not the best.
But
doesn't mean that there's somebody else who's the best.
Well, then that means I'm still the best.
Well, what if I haven't met the best? See, keep pushing.
All right, so I'll be happy to stay until you meet the Mr. Right.
Well, just have good days, and then we'll be just
I
fine.
have lots of good days. I have lots of good days. I bought you a laser printer today.
Oh, Lord, you bought it already?
Yeah, well, I just took the money out of savings, and then I'll just pay myself back when I get that check.
All right, well, I have to get you the e-transfer then.
No, you don't have to. No, just forget it. So, okay. Well, is there any other category I've failed to address for this performance review? What could I do better to immediately improve our relationship?
To immediately improve our relationship.
See how linear you are? You have to like repeat the question
I
every time I
don't
say it.
have an answer for that. I have to think, and instead of sitting quietly, I'm repeating the question. I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that you should do to improve our relationship right now.
Okay. I have a suggestion for you.
To improve our relationship for me to do?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I can't wait to hear this.
Girlfriend, you're driving. Come on.
My driving. I am a great driver.
You have almost killed us so many times.
I have not. You freak out like a little child.
Oh, there's that toddler thing.
Yeah. See, it's the whole toddler thing. Or, we could go in the other direction and compare you to a wife. Because isn't that the whole deal with the wife in the passenger seat?
Okay, yeah, everybody. I don't like to drive, so Baboo does all the driving in our relationship, and then I sit in the passenger seat and like I'm her wife.
Yeah, constantly.
Come on.
Okay, not
sound
constantly.
like that.
Not constantly.
Okay. But it does happen.
It does. Right down to, why are you taking this way?
But I never like, I'm not sure you see the stop sign because you're very quiet. I don't always know what you're thinking. And so I'm like, does she see this stop sign? And I'm just not sure, so I panic.
What about the invisible stop signs that you think are there?
Well,
but not?
I get tricked easy now because I'm 52. I get tricked easy.
Those are my favorite, those invisible stop signs, you know?
Did you, how did you feel the other day when I almost gave a woman on the telephone my social insurance number?
Oh my God. I didn't know if you were going to go there. That's all I can think about. That's all I can think about.
Like, I've actually become the old person that gets scammed.
Yeah, I gotta monitor your phone calls to make sure that you're not getting tricked.
I don't know what I was thinking.
You almost gave a person who claimed to be from Revenue Canada with her personal cell phone your social insurance and banking information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
That
one was a little scary for me.
It's funny because, like, when you're young, you think, like, well, why do old people drive so slow? And why do they... But now that I'm getting, like, you know, I'm not ancient or anything, but I'm noticing a slowdown. And the kids... I used to have this super fast computer brain, but the kids now are like, duh, and they correct me all the time.
Oh, yeah, those kids are quick.
Oh, my God, they're so smart.
Yeah.
And I gave you this chance to say all the bad stuff away because I'm really sorry about the argument we had, you know, before this.
I don't think there was too many bad things.
I was being a little bitch. I was acting like a little hoe.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I think you need to get some sleep.
Okay. And I'm easy to sleep beside, so this should be good.
Yeah, you stay on your own side now.
Okay, this is Baboo. Say goodbye, Baboo.
Bye, Baboo.
Oh, hold on. No.
That sounds about right.
Oh, so I hit it again. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, say goodbye to Baboo. Baboo, everyone. There she goes.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, she's not actually leaving, but... All right. Thank you, studio audience. Thank you. That was Baboo. So instead of messing around with the vocal pedal, I'm going to play an excerpt from my other podcast that I have not announced yet and is not published anywhere. This one I do with my friend Debbie Kay, and it's a relationship podcast. We talk about relationships, and we want to give advice. So if you have a question, a romance question, I don't care if it's stupid, I don't care if it's funny, just send it. peopleyouunfriended@gmail.com. That's the name of the podcast, People You Unfriended. Well, it's actually advice from people you unfriended, but the email address is peopleyouunfriended.com. And you will have your letter read during another episode of People You Unfriended. Then Debbie Kay and I will give you our best advice as professional mistake makers. This story is about getting catfished. Came up the other day while we were recording. I think you might enjoy it. Everybody loved that last story. So, this is an excerpt, just a sample of what the joy you will feel when listening to People You Unfriended. And remember, send us advice. peopleyouunfriended@gmail.com. Thank you. Enjoy the story. You want to hear my theory?
It wasn't a catfish, was it?
I have been catfished as well. I'll get into that.
Okay.
But my theory is that the third picture on any dating profile is what the person is actually going to look like. The first picture is their representative.
Like the best.
Yeah. The first picture is them in the best light possible. That's their representative.
Okay.
But the third picture, almost exclusively, is what they really look like. They butter you up, and then they hit you with it.
Well, maybe. Or they're not even putting up that third picture because they're just going to lure you in.
That's what happened to me.
Oh, okay. And then then maybe give you more pictures later. I don't know.
Do you want to hear my catfish story?
I do.
All right. So when my mom was dying of cancer, this is how deep this goes.
And how long ago was that?
It would be 2014-ish.
Okay.
Okay. No, my mom died in 2010. Well, it starts in 2010. It ends in 2014-ish.
Okay.
So in 2010, my mom is dying of cancer, and I get a letter from a girl named Daniela. I guess she doesn't exist, so I can use the name, right?
Yeah, I was going to say that even sounds like a fake name.
I get a letter from a girl named Daniela. Her parents call her Danny Capelli. And she had cancer as well and wanted me to know that it's going to be okay.
Well, how did she, get your your email?
Well, I had been talking on Facebook about, my mom dying. I mentioned it.
Yeah, but like, was she just a random?
Yeah,
or?
I think because I used to put all my statuses on public.
Oh, wow.
So this weird lady sees that my mom's dying and gets in touch with me as the character of Daniela Capelli, a young lady who was also dying of cancer.
Sounds like a novel.
And so I talked to this Daniela Capelli all night till like 6 a.m. And she made me feel a lot better,
Okay.
because it is...
Was it all typing?
Yes.
Okay.
We're messaging back and forth, okay? And she's got great insight. She's hilarious. Anyway, and she talks about living with cancer.
Okay.
What it's like for her. I wake up and I message her again, like, hey, you all right or whatever? Because I had made a new friend. And no answer. And a couple days later, I get a call. I get a message from her sister, Kelly Capelli, saying that Danny...
Kelly Capelli. Nothing? Like, no red flags yet?
Oh, I'm a fucking idiot, but I'll tell you the story anyway. So I get a letter from a Kelly Capelli saying Danny passed away the next day after we spoke. That I had spoken to her for the last hours of her life, and she passed away shortly after.
What the...
And I went around...
So weird.
I went around telling people this story. Like, oh, yeah, I talked a girl into death.
What?
Well, no, I didn't say it like that. Like I talked to her.
You were like the last one to speak to her.
Right. I held someone's hand as they ventured off into the fucking ether. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah, it was like a meaningful thing. So years go by, and every now and then I drop in on Kelly Capelli, see how you're doing, and
I don't know why that keeps making me laugh.
Yeah. Oh, this is so fucking sad. I'm so stupid. So I drop in on Kelly Capelli and, how you doing? And yeah, I miss Danny too. And, she was great. Yeah, I only know her for a short time, but So this Kelly Capelli thing goes on for a while. And then Kelly Capelli dies of cancer, supposedly. Now.
And how did you find that out?
It's on Facebook. I became friends with her. So I see on her page that she's raising money and she's, going to fight this. And there are like 100 people in her group, her warriors.
Oh my God.
That are, really pulling for her.
And was this all a ploy to get your money?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm gonna get to. She was raising money improperly based on a character that doesn't exist who was dying of cancer.
That's so.
It gets
bad.
It gets so much better.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay. So, Kelly Capelli is dying. I talked to Kelly, and we say a few, words about, you'd be able to see your sister and all this shit. Yeah, I don't know what to say. But you'll be joining her up there.
Why am I laughing?
Yeah, well, because I'm so stupid.
Because I know it's not true.
Yeah, we're talking about fictional characters, so you're allowed to laugh, Debbie K. So, Kelly Capelli dies of cancer. So now I put on Kelly Capelli's page, fly to the angels, whatever the fuck you put, so stupid, see you on the other side. So her sister, her little sister, Nicoletta Capelli, writes to me. This is all true.
I'm sorry.
I can show you these emails.
Okay, that is ridiculous.
Nicoletta Capelli is a little redhead beauty, about 27, and I was like 48. And I'm like having these deep talks, because it was actually a woman my age, but I'm having these deep ass talks with this cute little redhead who, and this is where I become the stupidest person on the world, lives in Nigeria.
Oh my, okay.
She said that she promised her sister Kelly, her dying promise was to go to Nigeria and help the people there.
Wow.
And so I was emailing back and forth with this beautiful redheaded girl who lives in Nigeria.
How did they know you liked redheads?
That happens to me all the time. Wait till I tell you.
That's crazy.
I got other stories about people dropping redheads in my lap. Not in my lap. Baboo, not in my lap. Anyway, so I talked to Nicoletta Capelli for months, and I'm in love. And then she starts saying, I'm coming down New Year's Eve. And she had a father who owned a chain of restaurants. Okay. I was going to be like a manager or something in her chain of restaurants. And I was moving to Toronto to be with my Nicoletta. And even though there was a big age difference, we were going to make it work.
And did you like exchange photos? And
yes.
Oh, wow.
And now here's another Andre as an asshole example. They were different people in every photo. Now that I look at it, I'm like, wait a minute, where'd that tattoo go? It's a different person in every picture. And I'm that's
And you
stupid.
fell for it.
I still fell because I thought no one would do this.
Oh, I just like, were you at a low point in your life?
Yes.
Because that's what I wonder if like catfish people, if they know that there's, that somebody's going through something, and then that's how they get you to string along, like to take advantage of the person at their lowest.
Yeah, well, from my 20s to my 50s, I did experience quite a low, and that was a joke, Debbie. From my 20s to my 50s, I did experience quite a low period. And
from your 20s to your 50s?
Yeah.
A whole 30-year span of bad luck?
You're only 52. You got a lot to learn. So she did get me on a bad time. So I'm talking to Nicoletta Capelli, and she's coming down for New Year's Eve. And I'm going to be, a restaurant. My life is set.
You're all ready to go.
And I'll even, oh my God. The girlfriend I reported for being a serial killer in seriousness kept writing to me and saying, like, we had broken up, but by this time, she kept saying, I got a feeling this is the one. This is the one. And I should have known.
Okay, that's another story.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because, that's a crazy story.
If Satan herself thought, this is your perfect match, I should have known that this is going to be fucked.
Yeah.
But anyway, I get a message one day from a guy named Sam. I don't know. I don't remember his last name.
Sammy Capelli?
No, this guy's name is Sam, and he lives in California.
Okay.
And he says, do you know Danny Capelli? I'm like, yeah. He goes, do you know Nicoletta Capelli? I go, yeah, she's my girlfriend. And he said, she's my girlfriend.
What?
Yeah. And
so the catfish has a dogfish.
She had men all over the world she was doing this to at the same time.
Wow, and they were all falling for it?
The guy from California got a tattoo on his shin. Rest in peace, Danny Capelli.
Get out.
I kid you not. I have the pictures.
Wow.
He got a tattoo for someone who doesn't exist. And
and that wasn't part of the whole scheme?
It was. He told me his story.
But is he a real person?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He's a guy in California. I mean,
I thought he was part of the catfish.
No. I'll get into all the things that this person did. But this poor guy in California, loved this Danny Capelli so much he got a tattoo in memoriam of her.
That is
and
nuts.
She did not exist. Yeah.
Wow.
Then we found this DJ guy in Britain. Same thing. Not the tattoo, but madly in love with Nicoletta Capelli.
And how long was she running this scam?
Years.
That's crazy.
This is 4 years later.
And I wonder how many people she actually did it to.
Oh, she's probably still doing it. So.
Oh, yeah. I keep thinking she died.
Yeah, no, she didn't.
No, it's probably a man from Nigeria.
Oh, I talked to her.
Oh, like it's a real woman.
So we get to the bottom of all of this. We go through the whole thing with all the victims.
Okay.
And I finally write to my love, Nicoletta.
Yeah.
And I say, here's another one. She had sent me a picture of her house, and it was beautiful. She's like, we're going to live here and, whatever, make love on the terrace.
Where, in Toronto or in Nigeria?
Yeah, in Toronto.
Okay.
In Toronto, at her dad's got a big mansion. Okay. The guest house is whatever.
Oh, yeah, and you're going to manage one of his restaurants.
Right. And this is the kind of lifestyle I can expect. But you can right-click any picture online and say, search image for other instances of that.
Yeah, I remember the first time somebody showed me that, I was shocked.
Yeah. And it turned out to be a picture of a house in Greece.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some actor.
Okay, so you finally, when you started catching on,
you confront Nicoletta Capelli.
Okay.
And it turns out to be a middle-aged woman named Cheryl from Ottawa.
From Ottawa?
From Ottawa. A Canadian did this to me.
Wow.
Yeah. And I never sent her any money. I only invested time.
Okay.
But yeah, there were dudes with tattoos of her.
Right.
There were Facebook groups that had raised a lot of money for
her?
For all these various characters she was playing.
Whoa.
And here's the really twisted part. She had invented about 20 other profiles of friends so that the friends would comment on her page and it would look authentic.
And so it was all her.
And it was all her.
So this woman didn't have a real job.
I don't,
like, it sounds like that would take up a lot of time.
I don't know what Cheryl does.
Wow.
Yeah, she must be really bored.
Well, I hope she's being charged, because that's like, to me, like, that's a criminal offense to do that to somebody.
It should be, yeah. I didn't know who to even report it to.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't even know if, do the police have time for this kind of stuff?
Yeah. So
I don't know.
I got her on the phone and I just said, this house is in Greece and I know about Greg and I know about, the British DJ. I know about everybody. And I said, I'm going to the police. And then the game was over. I'm sorry. I'm just bored. I'm sorry.
Really?
And so I got to talk to the real con artist. Yeah.
I wonder if they were conning you then. Like, is this a real person? Like, who knows?
I wouldn't be surprised if one of my Facebook friends is her.
Right.
It wouldn't shock me at all. And when you think about the deliberation it takes to build an entire universe of people so that you announce a birthday and then you get like 20 happy birthdays from all these fake people just to make these poor lonely guys feel bad.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And we used to have these long romantic talks and like deep.
Yeah.
Like go to bed like, wow, this is the one. And she was talking to 3-4 people simultaneously.
That's crazy.
So she's like some evil genius, apparently.
Yeah, she met and it's not like you're a stupid person. I know, yeah. I know it's not a good example of his intelligence. But yeah, she must have been pretty good. You're not that stupid.
She was a master. She had every I dotted and every T crossed, and I fell for it.
Wow.
For 4 years, I followed the history of a fictional family.
And what was the purpose? Was it money?
No, she was just bored.
She was bored.
She
And
didn't like her life in Ottawa, so she just invented one.
I wonder if she was like married.
Oh, yeah, she was.
Oh, okay. So this is her side
Oh,
gig.
I know her whole name. I know who she is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did you ever see like a real picture of who she was?
Here's a funny story.
Okay.
Kelly Capelli was her. Kelly Capelli was not as pretty as the other two.
Okay.
Kelly Capelli was, just...
Oh, so she threw one of her real self in?
She told Greg from California.
Okay.
Nicoletta told Greg from California that she's coming down to see him. She finally wants to meet him. And Kelly Capelli showed up and said Nicoletta can't make it for some reason, but I wanted to come and thank you for, everything you've done for our family. And then
because he'd been sending money and everything.
A fortune.
Wow.
So then he spends the week with Kelly Capelli because she's Danny's sister and he just wants to be near someone that knew Danny. So he spends a week with this crazy old woman from Ottawa.
Married woman
from Ottawa, thinking...
How did she get away from her husband without him knowing?
I would love to know what's going on at the Sherrill house.
Yeah, that is crazy.
To be a fly on the wall.
Wow, I can't even get a date here in Windsor.
Yeah.
Let alone guys from around the world just sending me money.
Some really fancy Christoph, whatever.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm in the wrong profession.
So she found someone in a vulnerable time because I had reported my girlfriend for being a serial killer. And she took advantage of me.
Are you going to tell us that story?
That I would need 4 hours for that.
Okay, so that's another episode because I would love to know about that.
That one goes into the world of high finance. The Hells Angels make an appearance.
And he's not making this shit up.
No.
These are real stories.
No, this really happened. I might even... Well, I don't want to identify. That's one thing I don't want to identify anyone.
Right.
I don't want people figuring out who I mean or feeling bad or, because... You remember that meme with the green dress and the blue dress?
Yeah.
And you could see it a different color depending on who you were?
Oh, yeah. I know where you're going with this because I always think that too. Like, two different people can see something so differently.
Yeah. And they're both right.
Yeah.
There's no telling what really came out of, someone's mouth, what you really heard.
Yeah, it's true. If I say something and I have a totally different intention behind it and you just take it a different way, which actually has happened a few times to me.
Every day of my life.
Oh, yeah, it's true. Sometimes your communication style is so different, you're just not understanding the person.
Yeah. I have a lot of trouble with people taking me wrong.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't mean it the way they take it.
Because I think that actually happened when we first met. We would argue and that sort of thing. And then I realized afterwards that you were trying to help. You weren't actually, being a goof.
Yeah, I used to. I'll get into the serial killer story some other time.
Okay, well, we definitely have to go back to that because not too many people have dated a serial killer and lived to tell about it.
Yeah. I've actually met 2 serial killers. I used to email with the Phoenix shooter. He was a boxing writer, so he would send me his articles to be edited.
Wow.
And he turned out to be the Phoenix shooter named Dale something.
Wow.
Dale Hausner. He killed himself.
Okay. Whew. You made it through another week, everyone. I've made it to another hour of my insanity. I thank you for joining me. I'll be back next week. No matter what you say. And, thank you, everyone. I've gotten some nice compliments and people love the story I told last week. I hope you like this one, too. And I'll be back with more stories. And remember, peopleyouunfriended@gmail.com. That is our new advice podcast I'm doing with Debbie K. It'll be available soon. We're putting a bunch of episodes in the can because Debbie's smarter than I am. So she's thought of this to, that way if we miss a week or something goes wrong, we've got an episode in the can, not like this week where I have to DJ and I've got all kinds of work to do and I'm still dumb enough to be doing this every week. Oh, well, whatever. I do appreciate you. Thank you very much. And I'll see you guys next week. All right. Thank you. Peace.